Welcome back to the Women in Distribution podcast series, where we celebrate and highlight the powerful voices and inspiring journeys of women leaders in the distribution industry. And today, I'm really excited to welcome Mary Bennett, a highly accomplished expert in the distribution and technology business with over 38 years of experience in the distribution industry. 24 of those years in leadership with Infor. Mary brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to the table today. Currently, she serves as the Vice President of Sales at NSA, who is a premier channel partner for Infor. NSA specializes in providing strategic software and services to wholesale distributors. Mary, it's wonderful to have you here today.
Hey, Robin.
Yes, ma'am. Well, to kick things off, we want to learn so much about you and your journey. Why don't you start by telling us a bit about that, yourself, your journey with Infor, 24 years, that's amazing.
Oh my
And
goodness.
your current role, what you're in today working with NSA.
Well, thanks, Robin. Yeah, it's funny how many times I talk to people about distribution and they all have a similar story. They kind of fell into it versus purposely thinking about when I grow up, I want to be in wholesale distribution industry. And that's really what happened to me. Fresh out of college, I worked for a computer company called Burroughs, now gone now. But anyway, when anyone would go on worldwide alert, they would put me on a plane and I'd fly in. I flew to a company in Colorado Springs called R&D Systems back in 86, and they had a problem. I fixed it. The owners offered me a job, and I'm like, wow, Colorado, this is amazing. I'm totally going to go for it. So yeah, it's just, I fell into the industry and I love it. Absolutely love it, because wholesale distribution industry is all family oriented, family businesses. Even if you're publicly traded, you still have that family mentality.
Oh, I can attest to that. um, so give us some insights into NSA. You were with Infor for many, many years, a much larger company, but still supporting the distribution industry. Tell us about your current role. I know you've been there a shorter time. What and the impact that NSA is having on the distribution industry and the Infor community.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, last year I made the decision to leave Infor and work for a partner. And obviously, I wanted to stay in the family, the Infor family and the distribution family. So, NSA is one of the largest and oldest Infor partners that specializes only in distribution. And what I really like about NSA is all of their team members are senior level, at least 15 years experience in the industry with distributors, and really have that knowledge and expertise specifically around SX and cloud suite distribution.
Yeah, that's super important when customers come to you, for help on their journey. I was one of those customers of NSA along my journey too, and it was really incredible. Um, and you've had, speaking of incredible, you've had an incredible journey so far. You've shared a bit with us about your journey in the distribution industry, but um, you talked about how you kind of fell into it. You didn't just wake up one day and decide you wanted to be in the distribution industry, but can you share some of your key experiences that kind of shaped your journey, that moved you along in Infor, that were pivotal or that were made impact in your career?
Absolutely. So, my undergrad is in computer science, so technology is it for me. And when I started at then R&D Systems, then Nexttrend, then Infor, obviously I was in more that technology role. I ran development, then I ran services and support. What you may not realize is back in the old days, R&D had a distribution company. We had a warehouse, we would stage computer systems, so we were doing value-added services, and I ran that small distribution company for the old R&D systems. Then
Wow.
they resold that, and I worked for that company for a number of years, and that company started around 200 million in revenue and grew to over a billion, all through mergers and acquisitions, also green space. It was a tremendous opportunity. And once, we got to a billion, obviously the company gets to be a certain size. I like a smaller company. I don't know what it is that you can just call the owner and talk through things. So once it got to be about a billion, it was over a billion, I started looking for other opportunities. So I wanted international experience. I worked for a small company out of Montreal, and they were also doing computer software for wholesale distributors, but not durable goods, which, Infor is really good at durable goods, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and so forth. They were doing it for pharmaceutical industries and pet food and non-durable goods. That was a trip because all of a sudden I got experience in Australia, in
Oh.
UK, France, Germany. So I got that international feel. And let's just face it, we still buy stuff, stock
Mhm.
it, and sell it. Doesn't matter what country you're in. Um, so I've been really blessed, and I'd say that the one thing everyone always assumes there's a ladder to climb, and I went a different route. I like moving cross laterally throughout organizations and even in the channel, working for a software company, then a distributor, then another software company. It's kind of fun to see the different perspectives of the industry.
Yeah, that is a great perspective. I've been in my current role, 20, well, my current company, 25 years. I've kind of moved up, if you will, into various positions. So the perspective that you have is really fantastic. Getting the side of the customer, the business, working for a partner, dealing with those different customers. That's really incredible. And you have become an influencer. I've known you for years in the Infor space, and your role, your leadership role working for really great companies. It speaks volumes about you and your success. And as you know, this distribution industry, and you've been coming, you've had so much experience. It has primarily been male dominated, and we have made strides over years where women are now coming into more leadership roles. They're coming into the space, the leading, whether it's in groups or whether it's within companies. But can you share with us how you encountered and how you navigated some of these challenges and or different biases maybe you've experienced during your long career?
Oh, gosh, yes. Number one thing, and I tell this to so many people over and over again, is be passionate, not emotional. And I think that's
Yes.
the biggest thing women struggle with, and it's a fine line, um, because we want to be passionate about our customers and what they need and our employees, but when you cross that line into emotional, then all of a sudden we're not taken as seriously. So try and keep that line firm. And then the other thing is always be learning. And the reason I say that is I'll spend the first hour every day reading any industry magazine, magazine,
Hmm.
MDM, NAW, I mean, all of them. I read through because I want to be in the know. I want to be able to share information with my customers and my colleagues And I want that to share that information and not just be the one asking questions. I want to be the one sharing information.
Right. No, that's excellent advice. Really, really excellent advice. I don't do that enough. So from this podcast, I'm gonna try and block a little time every day to do that. I love that idea. Um, and throughout your career as a business leader, I mean, you understand the fast evolving business landscape and, you know, the qualities that you have come to attain, that you've learned, um, that really truly distinguish great leadership. It kind of makes me think of the contrast between a great boss and being a true leader. So from your perspective, what do you think is a critical trait for female leaders to cultivate in today's environment? You've already talked about the emotional piece of it, but
Mhm.
do you have some other traits and, you know, that women could do in today's environment?
You know, I think we have a huge advantage over men. I honestly do. Okay, ladies, we do have a huge advantage.
Yep.
And, you know, it's like inbred in us to take care of others. It really is that mom factor. And I'm not a mother, but I still have that. I want to take care of others. And as strong women leaders, I think always want to make sure our employees and our customers are successful. And if you make them successful, you'll be successful. And as a leader, that's what I think we always have to be focused on. How do we take whatever roadblocks out of the way for our employees or our customers and do whatever they need to be successful. And then that it to me is always my number one thing is how can I serve them? And it just has worked out for me.
I love that. Helping them get done what they need versus telling them what to do, you know, is kind of what I was thinking about with that distinction
Yeah.
between boss and a leader. So I love that. And what advice would you give to young women who are literally at the front of their career, right? They're just starting out in the distribution industry, um, you know, and who wanna grow into a leader. What advice would you give those young women?
For me, don't be afraid to try new things. I think so many people they come out with an accounting degree and they think all they can do is accounting. You can do so much more. Learn other areas of the business. Don't be afraid to try new things and don't be afraid to fail. You know, I think we learn so much more from our failures than our successes. And it's not going to kill you if, something happens that didn't go right. So it's not life or death. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I love that answer. Especially we learn from our failures. That is really a hard thing for us to grasp because we're always looking uh, for successes and approvals, but really you grow the most when you fail and you learn from that. So I love that. Um, and being a CIO, being in technology myself, growing into more of a business leader, but really foundationally in technology, you know, wow, I have seen, and you, of course, coming in that same space, you started out in technology. Business has advanced at an incredible pace and it's just keeps multiplying year after year. So we're talking about nowadays, we're talking about automation and robotics and RPA and AI. You know, it's driving so much change in our businesses into the future. So how do you see these innovations transforming the future of distribution?
Absolutely love it. Because, I'm a technology nerd.
Yep,
Let's
I can
face it.
relate.
Oh my gosh. You know what? It levels the playing field. And I want everyone here to go out and learn more about RPA, robotic process automation, AI, artificial intelligence, and really what I want you to do is think of it as this way. These are tools now that are now cost affordable for small businesses. And really, it's all about automate those tasks in the business so you're not having to do so much manual effort. It increases productivity and it will make you more profitable in the end. So no matter where you are in the business, there are ways that you can automate. I love the Amazon factor where, I get my email as soon as I place the order. It tells me when I'm going to get my order. It shows me, hey, I'm X stops away. That communication, no one's doing that manually. It's all automated. That's RPA in a nutshell. So what things in your business, what steps do you do every day that you start thinking, God, do I have to do this? Can I automate it? Um, I, if you're not doing anything today, do it. Find something. Give me a call. I'll give you plenty of ideas.
Absolutely. I think what you said at the end there, I think just finding opportunities to start, just get your foot into it. And, it is a huge landscape. It might be a large learning curve, but, just start small with automating some, routine tasks and learning the
Yeah.
technology. Now, again, everybody's not data scientists and all of that, but there's so many tools that you can use that can elevate and even that playing field. I like how you said that. And from a leader of a mid-sized distribution company, that has huge impact for me to be able to compete with some, you know, very large enterprise based competitors. So I like that.
Absolutely. And you know what? We call it RPA, but even some of the workflows, some of the easy stuff in N4OS that comes out of the box can be leveraged to just streamline your manual effort. So don't think it has to be some big project. Start small and get some early successes.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. So I think about my career. My former boss and CFO, who's no longer with the company, he had a really great impact on my career. If I look back, um,
Mm.
and he kind of, I'm not sure about mentor, but definitely had an impact. And I'm wondering, is there somebody or some buddies in your past that played a role as a role model or a mentor that had significant influence for you?
There have been so many. And I think that's the one thing I learned from everybody, customers, fellow employees. But I have to say, starting out, some of the old timers on the call may remember Guy Lamley and Roger Lynn, who created old R&D systems. Tim Watson, he was a leader at the time.
Mhm,
Pat Becker, all of those guys had a significant impact for me starting out.
mhm.
But now it's like I learn from people every day.
Oh, absolutely. In every situation, there's an opportunity to learn, and that's what's great about this group, the Tug Women in Distribution. We have young women coming into the group. We have very experienced women like yourself. And I think we have a lot to learn from each other and a lot to teach one another. So that's a powerful message for sure. So as we kind of wind down today, I've been asking other participants on this podcast series to kind of share with us your unique superpower or a skill or quality that kind of sets you apart. So what would you say is yours, Mary?
For me, and I think for people who know me are going to say the same thing as my superpower is, so my mom was a nurse, my dad was military, and from a
Oh,
very early age, service to your country, service to the company, service to others was just bred into me. I can't say it any other way. And I'd have to say service is my superpower. I'm always thinking about whether it's my employees, my coworkers, or my customers. I want to make sure I'm providing them a service that adds value.
That's amazing. Um, that's quite a mix. The military and a nurse, although sometimes they come together in that fashion, right? But that is fantastic. Customer service, service to your employees. That is really great. And do you have any passions or hidden talents or things that you do to unwind outside of work that you wouldn't mind sharing with us?
You know what? I live in Colorado for a reason. I love the outdoors. I love to go hike in nature, and it just has a calming effect on me. And when you think about being technology savvy and always plugged in, it is just nice to unplug for a couple of hours or a couple of days, and go for a hike and go camping.
Yes. Well, excellent. And as we wrap up this episode, I really want to extend a heartfelt thank you to you, Mary, for all that you've shared with us today. I mean, you've been really a great influence and a leader in not only the tug community, but in the industry as a whole. So I thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Robin. We
Yes.
appreciate all that you do.
Yes, and your stories, have and will be inspiring to the listeners and anybody who happens to jump onto this podcast. So, and to all the tug women and future leaders, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to join us next time for another inspiring episode of the Tug Women in Distribution podcast series.
Thank you.